Hi, I'm Shauna Mae Jackson, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Action with Miss Jackson, where I go over the celestial insights using astrology to hopefully motivate and influence you to take action and do the thing, if you know what I mean. So, in this video, we're going to cover the upcoming partial solar eclipse happening on March 29th in the sign of Aries for the new moon, second eclipse of the year, karmic fated endings, fated new beginnings. You're not going to want to miss this. Don't get FOMO. Stay tuned. Now that we have officially had spring equinox, we are in Aries season. The eclipse season is we're in the thick of it. There's two that happened. Well, there's one that happened on March 14th. Now we have the second one coming up, which is going to be the partial solar eclipse. And it's going to be in the sign of Aries, which is the leader in the zodiac. It's the first sign. It's new and it's the beginning. It's pioneering. It's courage. It's being bold. It's taking ownership of your sovereignty. And that is what this Saturday, March 29th, is really signifying and bringing in this new energy of being self-independent, self-sufficient, establishing your self-freedom and however that means to you. And this can be on a personal level, this can be on a professional business level, but this is the time for you to be aware of this energy and how it's been speaking to you internally and what you can do to implement and take action to really materialize this energy and alchemize it into this world, into this 3D experience. So, rewinding a little bit here, we also have the very next day after March 29th, we have Neptune, the planet of spirituality. It represents delusion, illusion. It can be just in your head, psychological. It's subconscious, the dream state, what your dreams that might be even in waking state. So this planet Neptune is leaving its home sign of Pisces on March 30th and entering Aries. And this is such a beautiful thing because we also have what is called the North Node. North Node is really about like what your focus should be. And it's usually lasts about 18 months to 2 years. And we are leaving and ending and finalizing the last 18-month, 2 year period of North Node being in Aries. So you might have noticed how you've been thinking about ways to become a leader, ways to really exert yourself as who you are, and more so in your head, where because Neptune being in Pisces during the last 2 years of this time of really trying to figure out who am I? What do I want to do? How can I step my game up and be, my own boss or my own have my own way of living, of feeling, of being, of creating. We've had Neptune kind of giving us a little brain fog, and sometimes we can't really think clearly when Neptune is in its own sign because it's just like bombarded by all of these, like maybe you're dreaming way too unrealistically in a sense of where it doesn't make sense with where you're at currently as far as like calculated practical steps that might need to be taken in order to reach that big of a dream. So now that Neptune is leaving Pisces and moving into Aries, it really paves the way for Neptune to express itself because Aries is fire. Okay, so you're getting this fuel, this passion behind these dreams, these ideas, these visions you've been having for some time. And maybe even because we do have Venus and Mercury retrograde at this time, you might even have been given some insight on how you could revise and retweak these visions or ideas that you've been sitting on or working on or experimenting with even the last couple of years, that now with Neptune moving into Aries, you could really like go in hard and really do it in a way that you feel like, okay, I think this would be a better way to approach this. And even also because Aries is the sign of courage, you might find that you're in a place where you feel more willing to take that risk, even though you might not be used to putting yourself out there like that. But it is time to, and going back to the eclipse season, the thing about eclipses that I really love is that no matter whether you're ready or not, it sort of like knocks you on off your feet and forces you to get moving. So I guess an example would be, maybe you're trying to leave a job, or you want to move, but you haven't taken the initiative to do that. And then the eclipse season comes along and it just something happens externally outside of your control that activates that pivot, and you're forced to make that pivot. So the beauty about astrology and what I love so much about being aware of these themes, these energies, and kind of knowing where you're being nudged, is that when you know about these energies, you can take your own calculated steps towards moving at your own pace, and doing what you need to do. Start looking, start keeping an eye out, start preparing. Whereas when you're not really in the know and you're not feeling that soul, like that nudge to really go for it, it takes you by surprise when somebody or something chooses your path for you in a sense where you're not even ready for for the switch up so quickly. So all that to say, um, you want to take the time to really dial down on what it is that you've been thinking about, dreaming about, envisioning about. Neptune is also all about spirituality. So whatever you've been learning around your spiritual beliefs, whatever you've been detaching from, or whatever you've been building up your knowledge and your mastery around spirituality, now is the time for you to possibly become a spiritual leader. Or you don't even have to lead others, but even in the sense of like, what works for you. You don't need to lean on external leaders to know what it is you need. It's really about going within. Neptune is all about within. Aries is without, it's all out. It's external. It's the oh man, it's the athlete. It's the soldier, the warrior, the go-getter. So now that you have acquired all this amazing, beautiful, deep knowledge around Neptunian energies as it was in Pisces, you can bring that into Aries, assert yourself through these principles and practices that you've acquired. And going back to Sunday, March 30th, where I say the day after the eclipse season, I'm sorry, the eclipse happens on March 29th, right? In the sign of Aries, new moon. So planting new seeds of what to do that you want to grow and flourish, especially at the time of this eclipse season. The very next day, you have Neptune swapping places with the North Node in Aries. So North Node in Aries is switching to Pisces. So it clicks into Pisces, making the focal point for the collective and for you. But collectively, the next 2 years, 18 months is all about Pisces, spirituality, creativity, um, your dreams, your visions, subconscious. It's all about who are you in your routines on a daily basis? How are you strengthening your spirit with the creator? How are you strengthening it with yourself? And how are you honoring that? So you have Neptune moving into, I'm sorry, you have the North Node moving into Pisces, leaving Aries, which has been, drilling our brains of like, oh, what should I do? How should I be a leader? Now, North Node is like, okay, now it's time to really hunker down and get into your spirit and get into your feminine, creative, subconscious, imaginary mind, okay? While simultaneously, we have the new moon eclipse that activates in Aries about taking action and planting seeds so that you can reap these tangible benefits from both of these. Okay, there's so much going on in the astrology right now, but I really wanted to just give it a basic bite size of how you can use this energy to plant a new beginning as a leader, as a pioneer, as an innovator, as a go-getter, as somebody who is fearless, who is ready. Because a lot of times we get really stuck inside our heads and we don't feel like we can move forward. So now it's time to get your foot out of the mud and to actually step forth and dominate. Okay? It's time. So I just wanted to thank you so much for your time and watching this video. If you have any questions or any comments or thoughts, feel free to comment below. But I look forward to seeing you next time, and have a beautiful, blessed, amazing, prosperous week. Magnificent.